Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you in the Philippines, good evening for those of you in the States, and good day for the rest of you who are wherever you are in the world. All I'm wishing is that you are all healthy and safe on this 23rd of March 2022. It's a Wednesday. We have all bases loaded because we have three guests today, starting with Senator Koko Pimentel talking about the PDP-Laban Cusi faction endorsing Bongbong Marcos. Then that will be followed by our interview with Presidential Advisor Joey Concepcion regarding the back-to-work mode, the four-day work week proposal of certain government officials, as well as the issue of incentives being withheld if companies do not go to back-to-work mode. And last but not the least, we will be speaking with the resort manager of Asea Subic Beach Resort, Melissa Corilla. All of that here on agenda. Let's start with the daily starter. You have to do what is right for yourself. Nobody else is walking in your shoes. Now, let's go straight to the front page of the Philippine Star for a just very quick review of the front page so we can get our program going. There you go. COMELEC to form task force versus vote buying. And at the top, DOH recommends fourth dose or fourth jab for seniors and those with who are vulnerable or immunocompromised. And the Philippines and the United States to hold largest ever balikatan exercises comparable to what has happened in Europe, where the U.S. took part in the NATO exercises, the largest NATO military exercises. Mask stays on. According to President Duterte, kahit mag-level 0 pa, suot pa rin kayo ng mask. PDP-Laban Cusi wing endorses Bongbong. Rodi wants successor to kill drug offenders. Music lovers mourn Barberi. Kung hindi nyo kabisado yan, yan po yung ika nga nila legend at sa classic music, orchestra, etc. Russia's war against Ukraine, for whom the bells toll. It's been 1 month and tuloy-tuloy pa rin po ang bakbakan. But before we can do into any of that, dito muna tayo, bakbakang politika. And we have with us to start our day the second generation from the founding father, the founders of PDP-Laban, the original, genuine faction. Let's bring in Senator Koko Pimentel. Mr. Senator, good morning.
Good morning. Magandang umaga, maayong buntag, Cito. And to all your viewers worldwide.
Okay, nasa Facebook eh. That's the beauty of Facebook, yes. Senator. Now, Senator, I know you are one of the most in-demand individuals this morning because of the ironic endorsement of the PDP-Laban Cusi faction of Bongbong Marcos. You were quoted as saying that it is almost like a Nazi party in Germany endorsing the enemy. Anyway,
the other way around. Yeah, ang ginamit ko Cito, gumamit ako ng analogy para maintindihan natin kung gaano po ka ironic pero hindi to nakakatawa na ginawa ni Secretary Cusi. Medyo masakit po sa amin na party members na original na dali ng pangalan ng partido tapos i-endorse mo yung antithesis or opposite ng pinaniniwalaan ng partido. So hindi po joke sa amin yun. Seryoso na bagay po yun. Kaya kami umaangal. Ngayon, ang ginamit ko na analogy Cito, sabi ko, kunyari nasa Germany tayo at merong political party na binuo a political party is formed to oppose Adolf Hitler, do you think that political party will sometime down the road endorse Adolf Hitler Jr.? So ginawa ko lang na gano'n analogy para maintindihan po natin na hindi natin ma-expect yung partido na yun ay to endorse yung anak ng kanilang kinalaban dahil sa pangalan ng demokrasya. So that was the analogy, Cito. So sana po maintindihan kahit ng mga non-party members, no, the people at large, they will understand our point of view that impossible for genuine PDP-Laban members to be endorsing Ferdinand Marcos Jr. as president pa of the Republic of the Philippines. Impossible. So many reasons. It's against our beliefs. It's against our history. It disrespects those who sacrificed. Some died in the name of democracy or opposing authoritarianism and dictatorship. Plus the simple fact that the PDP-Laban already has a presidential candidate in the person of Senator Manny Pacquiao. And we underwent the formal party processes required by our constitution. So ginawa po namin yun. And then here comes a group, a moneyed group. May mga media handlers ito kaya admittedly talo kami sa media, but they're just sa media lang sila. I mean, pagdating sa prinsipyo, mali. Pagdating sa mga common members, legitimate members, hindi susunod yan. At ako'y nananawagan nga na huwag kayong sumunod dyan, mga usurper yan, pretenders, ganun po. Okay. Nagamit lang po ng media. Opo.
Okay, Senator, just as a point, okay, hindi po lahat ng media ay kanilang ma-handle. At palagay ko, mostly in fairness to my associates in media, we are simply grabbing the news as it develops. So I'd like to think that the media in the Philippines is not being bought or being cajoled or being impressed by this group. Nonetheless, total, nandiyan naman, prangkahan na tayong dalawa. You've been in politics long enough. You and I, our parents, our fathers, have been in the opposition long enough. Now, the question is, what motives do you read behind this? Kasi yung noon na nag-usurp, as you pointed, ni-usurp yung PDP-Laban, kumbaga pinakialaman at tinake over, ang sabi nila because they don't have a political party to launch their candidate. When they ended up usurping half of the PDP-Laban, now their problem was who their candidate would be because your group has a candidate. Yeah. Now, they're betting on Bongbong Marcos. Is this a legitimate party exercise or is this, as some analysts say, pare, last act of survival na yan para pag manalo man si Bongbong, hindi sila makalimutan. Do you see this?
That your analysis is correct and I agree with your analysis. Una sa lahat, it's an illegitimate act. Kaya nga, and it's unfair to the real PDP-Laban members to be bringing the name of the party in endorsing the complete opposite of what the party stands for. Kaya naman kami galit at lumalaban. Because if they had brought another name or formed another group, another party, and then they make this endorsement, wala po kaming pakialam doon because that's it. That's politics. You endorse who you want. But they are bringing the name of PDP-Laban, and we have been with the party for 40 years. You do not do that to us. My father, Senator Nene Pimentel, formed the party, PDP-Laban, and then it's a merger between PDP and Laban, and we know Laban is the party of Ninoy Aquino, Lorenzo Pineda. So yun po yun. And it's an insult to the history of the party, to the founders of the party, and to those who sacrificed. Pag sinabi kong sacrifice, yung tatay ko 4 times na kulong. Pero meron din po kaming party members na namatay in the struggle. Yun yung ultimate sacrifice. So, well, I just mentioned the media, Cito, kasi when they call for a press conference like that one being shown, they're well organized. Meron silang media handler.
Okay.
They are a well-funded group, they're well organized. But that's it. Yun lang yun. That's their only advantage. Ideologically speaking, prinsipyo, wala po.
What about
pang-apat na nila na presidential candidate yan, Cito.
What about the Duterte factor? Kasi I think that is the Trojan horse, so to speak, that they used to get into the PDP-Laban. They brought in, or they pushed President Duterte to be part of PDP-Laban, and now parang inangkin na nga nitong Cusi faction yung PDP-Laban to your protestation. What has President Duterte said, if any, to you?
Nothing. He's not really involved in PDP-Laban. But now, our official position is President Duterte is no longer with PDP-Laban because he substituted for a PDDS political party candidate. Under the rules of the COMELEC and under our election code, you can only substitute for a candidate who has already filed a certificate of candidacy if you belong to the same party as that candidate you are substituting. So yun na po yun. So that means from the acts of the president himself, he is now with the PDDS. It's a new political party.
So kumbaga wala nang involvement si presidente, and you honestly believe that the president is not part of this endorsement for BBM, kasi naglabasan kagabi sa social media na paano mangyayari yan, mismong si presidente had spoken against an alliance with the BBM group. So what will be your, I know you need to have other interviews, Senator, so I'm just curious, what actions are you going to take, or what's the game plan for now?
So we still have time, Cito. Okay lang. No need to rush.
Okay.
The game plan now is we are just the legitimate PDP-Laban group is just continuing with our campaign for our party president Senator Manny Pacquiao, who is our candidate for president, and then he's chosen a ticket. We have Barbo for senator. He's really from the rank and file of PDP-Laban. It was Cusi who filed a case against us before the COMELEC. So even Secretary Cusi recognizes our leadership but wants to change. Sabi niya, ako na, siya na daw. He's now the new leader of the party. A person who joined us in the campaign of 2016. He wants to replace me, who has been with the party for 40 years. I-round off ko na lang na 40 years. So, ganun po yun. So, I mean, that petition is still pending. I think the COMELEC should immediately act on the petition. And our prayer is that be immediately dismissed. Hence, recognizing our leadership. Kasi if you look, Cito, if you look at the senatorial candidates of Secretary Cusi's so-called PDP-Laban, we have not even seen them in party events for in the past. So, and then all of a sudden, by convenience, they now run under PDP-Laban. So, hindi po pwede yun. Unlike our candidate for senator, isa lang, former Eastern Samar Governor Lutz Barbo. He has been with the party for 30 plus years.
Okay. Do they still matter? Does the existence and the actions of the PDP-Laban Cusi faction still matter in the scheme of things, given that we are already nearing the end of March? Wala na nga 2 buwan, eleksyon na. May say pa ba? And are you planning to take legal action against them in the future?
I have talked with our lawyer handling the COMELEC petition, the COMELEC case. I have suggested that we use what Secretary Cusi did yesterday in endorsing the antithesis of the party against them in their own case, diba? To show COMELEC that they do not understand at all what PDP-Laban is all about. Hindi nila naintindihan. They are unaware of the history. They do not understand any of our basic principles. So, consistent with our original charge that they are mere usurpers, pretenders, hijackers of the party, power grabbers. Yan po yung pag-characterize namin sa kanila. Now, practically speaking, actually, itong gagawin nila, makakabawas sa grupo nila because, marami rin naman silang na-attract papunta sa grupo nila, but not knowing that they will end up endorsing Marcos. So, there is already one governor na hindi na sumama because he's not with us. He joined their group, but hindi na siya sumama sa step na
Governor Ben Ebardone.
Yes, sa step na ito hindi na siya sumama, hindi na siguro niya kaya. So I'm sure makakamenos yun sa number nila who thought that, Secretary Cusi was leading them to somewhere good for their group or good for themselves, ganun yun. But the value of this one is for propaganda. That's why they really made sure that they are well covered by media. Pampropaganda lang po yan, maybe bandwagon effect, ganun-ganun. But since they are involving us, the genuine PDP-Laban, we will also fight back and we will speak up. So to counter whatever value that they want this to have, we will tell the people this is illegitimate, this is a power grab, and to completely disregard these people.
Okay. Senator, medyo off-topic. Last question ko na lang sa inyo. Because yesterday, Joey Salceda, Rufus Rodriguez, and I don't know, my brain is not functioning very...
Lima ko yata, Cito.
Yung pangatlo, they were endorsing a Lenny Sara tandem. Now, I know that PDP-Laban is a original faction or Pimentel faction. Alam ko kayo talagang loyal to the bone sa mga kasama ninyo. Now, but in the event that, as you said, for practical concerns, if at the final month of the election, medyo hindi tayo makaangat in terms of surveys, in terms of polls, is the PDP-Laban with Senator Manny Pacquiao open or considering alliances or passing their share of votes to the front runner, which primarily would be Lenny Robredo, given how you are all averse to anything Marcos?
Well, number one is how do we factually fix that notion that Lenny is the number one choice among those who are anti-Marcos? Because if you look at the surveys, lumabas yung limits of their methodology or even mistakes of their methodology. And I'm glad that this happened. In the last Pulse Asia survey, if I'm not mistaken, they gave Manny Pacquiao 0 in the NCR region. 11%, o lagyan na lang natin 10% na botante po nasa NCR. So sa formula, pagpasok ng formula ng survey taker, 0 si Manny Pacquiao sa NCR. So syempre, ang baba na nung final di ba? The national preference rating mo, ang baba. But in reality, on May 9, 7 million voters in Metro Manila. 0? Imposible. So that's it. That is the limitation or the weakness of a survey. Hence, hindi kami na nababahala doon sa final rating ni Senator Manny Pacquiao. Alam namin na that is the floor. That's the floor kasi ziniro ka na sa isang lugar eh. Sa 10% of the country, ziniro ka. That is your floor. But your actual rating is definitely higher than that published result. So That's the difficulty, Cito. If you claim now,
Yeah,
I'm
well,
higher than
without claiming, just the hypothetical question, or I mean, actual factual question: is the party amenable if it so requires? Is the PDP-Laban Pimentel faction open to alliances?
Alliances all the time, but not on the condition that we are the ones who should give way. Maybe they should also entertain giving way to us. Now that we feel that we have the momentum. So
Okay.
ano po kami, iba po yung spirit ngayon ng Pacquiao campaign, medyo upbeat po, very positive because we believe that he did very well in the first COMELEC sponsored presidential survey.
Tsaka consistent naman kayo eh. Suntok ng suntok ng suntok hanggang makalepok. Okay, thank you very much, Senator Koko Pimentel. Keep your energy up because you're going to have a long day of interviews today. God bless you, sir.
Thank you for this opportunity. Salamat, Cito. More power to your program. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. And that's Koko Pimentel, Senator. And now we go for a quick break and we bring in Joey Concepcion, Presidential Advisor, to talk to us about the proposed 4-day work week, yung naging issue regarding incentives of the DOF being withheld daw pag hindi pumasok yung mga BPOs, etc., etc. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back to the program agenda. And at this stage of the program, we will be discussing the issue of Department of. Okay, there we go. We have Presidential Advisor Joey Concepcion there. Okay, we go ahead and finish that. Okay, we will be speaking with Joey Concepcion regarding yung naging issue of government incentives for a PEZA zone. Pag hindi sila in-person work, mabibitin. Or well, we will discuss it. Good morning, Presidential Advisor Joey Con. Welcome back to the program agenda.
Hi, Cito. Good morning.
Sorry, I know you're another busy person, and we really appreciate that you make time for us. But first of all, how are things among your associates in the private sector regarding back to work physically?
Well, of course, as you know, groups really came out with a press release, really pushing for our employees to go back to work. The situation right now is we really have to get our economic activity moving up. And for that to happen, we want our workers to go back to work, especially the blue-collar jobs, those in the offices, because it does stimulate the economy. And of course, schools, students going back face-to-face. So that is very important. That's one of the primary motivations why we moved for it. Yes, most of us are concerned about the rising prices of fuel, but what is foremost in our mind is we have to bring back economic activity because, as you know, Ukraine and Russia we're facing strong headwinds there, and we have to stimulate the economy through more mobility. So that is the reason why we pushed for going back to work. Even in America, everybody's going back to the offices now.
However, you do realize that there is now, the 2-year lockdowns have created a culture, the work from home culture, and many individuals just want to exercise that option. Are the private sector business owners open to that? Or because some people have said, yeah, we don't go spend money on gasoline, but we still buy food, we spend more money on electricity, et cetera, et cetera. So what the economy may not be making in physical presence, they are also still making in indirect expenses of work from home.
To some extent, that is right. But definitely, when you go out of the house, there is more businesses that you help, from the transport that you ride, from the canteen that you have your lunch. Eventually, there's mobility really spurs economic activity. But nevertheless, we're not saying that each company there's a one size fits all. No, for example, in our own company, we have decided that Friday becomes a day for work from home. No? And people will accept that. So, we should allow the private sector, each of these different corporations, to decide what is the right pathway they take, no, which balances both, employee concerns and as well as the concerns of what the owners feel is best. No? And of course, not. Some will definitely want their workers. I know people who really want their employees to be there, well, even up to Saturday. But in our case, many people are thinking of a work from home. But I think it's good to get our employees back to office, to start to move a normal life. No, and I think the government position here is that they are not imposing it. They cannot impose this. This is really the judgment call of the private sector.
Yeah. What about the appeal of the PEZA, the economic zone, where I think what happened is an office of the Department of Finance that gives incentives in the PEZA zone said you have to be back to work physically, or your incentives are going to be reduced or withheld. I mean, it's like blackmail or hostage.
Yes, so that is part of the incentives that PEZA gives. There are about 700, I'm told, 700 plus buildings that have PEZA accredited offices. And part of your incentives, your tax incentives and all of that, you have to conform to these rules. Now, I think there could be some flexibility. Talking to Dana, Chica, and others, they are looking at trying to get people to work from home. But that is something that they will have to discuss. I think the Department of Finance, if they enforce this, then they have no choice but to get their workers to go back to offices. But I think, nevertheless, the way I see it, Cito, is that we want to spur economic activity. And if these buildings will be empty, then it becomes a problem. It doesn't also become viable for these BPOs to pay rent and not use the facilities. So if they want to modify it, whereby part of it would be work from home, then I think it would be possible, like similar to what other companies are doing. So hopefully I don't think, the only issue here is that private sector right now has liberty to do what we want. Now, in the case of BPOs and call centers, since they are deriving these incentives from PEZA, they may have to conform to this because it's part of the rules. So if they're able to convince them, then great.
Yeah, I just have two questions. What's your reaction to the statement of Secretary of Labor Silvestre Bello when he said about a month ago that the minimum wage that we now pay workers is insufficient and does not relate to a living wage. So I think that will be the next discussion in the next 6 months, minimum wage versus living wage. Are you supportive? Are your members or your associates supportive of adjusting salaries, or are we going to go through that dog chasing its tail situation where if we raise salaries, we lose workers again?
Well, we have to look at it this way. No, we just came from basically 2-year pandemic, and March was the first time we saw alert level 1 reinstated. Our biggest challenge here are micro, small, and medium enterprises. No, so these people employ 60% of the country's workforce. Now, for large corporations, we have our CBAs. No? Most of us are unionized. No? So it's not true that we don't increase their salaries. There is a collective bargaining agreement where every year, under a period, in a union, you have this agreement. So we give annual increases. No? Most companies, if not all, give annual increases. But of course, our MSMEs are more challenged. Many of them have closed. We're trying to revive them. And, we're barely, a month in opening the economy. So they're starting to do much better. So, and I think that started basically because of what happened with Ukraine and Russia. No? So this conflict brought up commodity prices from everything from food commodity to fuel. No? Yeah. So, but my position there is let's wait, and the oil prices may go down, and true enough, there was a huge rollback on the prices of fuel. No, so I think we don't want to panic. I think yes, the concern of labor is valid, but let's stimulate the discussion. Let's see the situation. It may start to improve. Hopefully, God willing, it does improve, and this thing can temper down. No? And I think the ayuda from the government is a good stopgap measure. No? So if we burden our MSMEs and impose that they have to increase the wages, and they're hardly surviving right now, how will they? We might lose more people. Job employment is more important actually right now.
Okay, last question. What's your reaction to the proposed 4-day work week?
Well, to me, I think the private sector should make the decision on which they are more comfortable, whether they declare Friday as a work from home, or they cut down remove Friday as a working day and transfer those hours from Monday to Thursday. Let's allow the private sector some leeway in deciding this. No? I mean, I think there is many are right now. People are trying to balance things because of the fuel concerns. So let's give them that leeway. I think many companies recognize that our employees are taking that extra burden. No? So my own example is our own company. We basically Friday is work from home.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Joey, and I do hope that everything works out, because it's seemingly going to be another tough year for us because of the Ukraine-Russia conflict. But nonetheless, I know you are there and the businessmen are there. We wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cito.
Okay, that's Mr. Joey Concepcion, Presidential Advisor on Entrepreneurship. And ayun po, no, pakinggan nyo ng maigi. Medyo magiging mabigat ang pagsubok natin coming towards the second half of the year because of the rising prices, etc., transition from one administration to another. It doesn't mean it's bad. It's just that we all have to really work hard at it and be careful. Okay, so let's go for a quick break. And when we return, we will talk to the resort manager of the Asea Beach Resort in Subic Bay. We'll be right back here on Agenda. Welcome back to the program agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, and if some of you are noticing some blur in the camera, it's not your set, it's moi. I'm running on generator. We have had no electricity since yesterday afternoon, so naka-genset po kami. Pati yung genset namin malapit nang mag-walk out. Nag-boycott na kanina, montig nang mag-walk out ngayong program. But we're all good. We will try to upgrade everything. But for now, let's try to relax and talk about going to the beach, because many of you are already planning. Since it's officially summer, many of you, I'm sure, are looking for places to go. And I know of a place, for transparency's sake, it belongs to a friend of mine, family friend, the Sitin family, and it's located in Subic Bay, and SBMA, but not many people really know about it kasi kumbaga kung doon pa sa kadulu-duluhan ng Subic nilagay yung resort, but it turned out to be a good decision because it's relatively private, almost parang private, although open to the public, hindi high traffic, maganda, etc. And let's now speak. Hindi pala siya resort manager kasi ako automatic eh. Basta yung haharap sa camera, resort manager or hotel manager. But she's the events and banquet manager of ACEA Subic Beach Resort, Miss Melissa Corilla. Melissa, good morning to you.
Hi, Sir Cito. Good morning, all the way from Subic po.
Okay, now I remember saying to myself na, nako, all of this lockdown, Subic is locked down, and I'm sure ASEA, like many resorts, would suffer. But I was surprised on how Sandra Sitin stepped up, your head honcho there, and biglang nag-interior decorator, biglang nag-landscape architecture. And then I started hearing from a lot of the big bikers that they went to ASEA, etc. How are things in ASEA now? And could you please give our viewers an idea how to get to ASEA?
All right. So for those of you who doesn't know where ASEA is, we are located inside the Subic Bay Preferred Zone. Basically, it's just a 2 to 3 hours drive from Manila. No need to fly. It's a beach resort. In fact, we have the largest infinity pool in Central Luzon, and aside from that, we also have the cleanest beach. I mean, we always clean it on a daily basis. You can see that people are enjoying our beach. Also, when you visit our property, you can see that all of the plants, we're right, Sir Cito, a while ago, Miss Sandra, fixed everything since we closed last year. When the pandemic hit, we closed from March 20, and then we reopened our doors April 2021. And then all of the things that needs to be rectified were fixed before we open. Now we are slowly getting back to normal. Of course, with the minimum health and safety protocol as guided by the Department of Tourism and the local tourism office here in SBME. And luckily, we were able to attract guests, especially those families with kids, because the resort have great outdoors to make them feel confident that it's safe to stay here in ASEA.
Okay, now I know that you have a really wide beach. You have, I think, 2 swimming pools, 1 infinity pool and 1 for the kids, if I remember.
Yes,
but,
sir.
you know, I never got to ask Romel Sitin and Kenneth, how many rooms exactly do you have and how many banquet facilities? Because when I last visited there, I think you were like building a ballroom and then biglang nag-lockdown, so I never got to see what happened.
Yes. So right now, we have 64 rooms at the resort, Sir Cito. We have plans of expanding it more this year, adding 56 rooms. So hopefully, by next year, we'll end up with 120 rooms to cater more guests and groups here. With the events and banquets, we have one multi-purpose hall. So it has one big ballroom that can cater to 100 to 130 guests, social distancing applied. And then we have small meeting rooms that can accommodate small groups who are having their seminars, meetings. And of course, ASEA is well known for the food, great food, because of our Chef Merlinda Junio. So famous for the reason why people are coming back and choosing ASEA to have their events here is because of the food as well, not only of the facilities and amenities and the great beach that we have, but because of the food. So it's a total experience for our guests po talaga.
Okay, I'm just curious, Melissa, because I remember that in the past, before COVID lockdown, the resort was momentarily managed by a foreign group or by foreigners, etc. Have you now managed it all Filipino?
Yes, sir. I can proudly say that we are 100% Filipino managed resort. We are under a new management. In fact, we rebranded our resort, sir. From ASEA Subic Bay, we changed it to ASEA Subic Beach Resort. So when the owners decided to reopen the resort last March or last year, they hired people all over the Philippines who have experiences to manage a resort. So me, I'm from Palawan. The operations manager now is from Dumaguete and Palawan. Others are from those laid off from other properties, also coming from Manila. But most of our employees are locals.
So finally nakinig na yung mag-asawa kay Kuya Cito. Kasi sinabi ko, foreigner pa kayo. Pinakasalan ko, foreigner. Pero yung beach resort, ako mag-operate. Ayan, because I've always believed, I mean, I used to run I had experience managing 2 resorts in Palawan. Where from Palawan do you come from?
I came from Puerto Princesa, sir.
And ang background mo has always been in Banquet?
It's always been in guest services in total, sir. And then when I moved here, I joined first being the head of the front office department. But I think the owner saw potential in me to spearhead the events and banquets since the demand is there as well. And I have the drive to start it. Actually, that's the advantage of the team that we got as well, sir. We are team of young minds, result-driven. So whatever is the challenges na binabato sa amin ng owners or ng upper management, we're just going for it.
Okay. Now, you said that many of the new staff are from former or were hired who were laid off. Now, how big a staff is there to manage ASEA? Because yun lagi ang nagiging question. I've been traveling a little lately, and the companies or the hotels and resorts that laid off are now suffering. Now, ASEA mukhang nag-hire at nag-landscape at nag-interior design at nag-expansion. How many exactly are there now in ASEA?
Sir, the last time I checked, we have 130 employees, sir. So I'm part of the pioneer team, of the reopening team. We started with only 50, and over a year, we got 130 employees already.
Ay, tama na yan, ha? Baka masyadong pakakuya-kuya-kuy na kayo dyan. Okay, but okay. Now, so what kind of food is offered in ASEA? You were talking about your very popular chef and the people keep going back for the food. Exactly what kind of food is there? Because I've never complained about the food in ASEA, but under the reopening team, anong nabago?
Sir, we have various dishes and cuisines here in ASEA. Yung specialty ni Chef Linda is more on Western cuisine, but she's also great to catering Filipino dishes to still connect to the taste or yung panglasa ng mga guests natin, because our guests are still Filipinos, local families. So there's a connect between the dishes that she's cooking and to the taste buds of our guests. In fact, we also have barbecue nights every Friday. So what set it apart from other properties who are offering it, you can see the griller by the beach, and then you can smell the usok, even you mag-aamoy usok, the total experience, and then the taste of it din po. We're in the Philippines, or that you don't need to fly, can you experience that? So in Subic, we have that, sir.
Okay, now what activities does ASEA offer for their guests? Because alam mo, medyo dyan sa Subic, kung hindi mo kabisado, tatanga ka na lang sa kwarto mo. And that is, I've heard that from many people. Kuya, we don't want to go to Subic kasi walang magawa. Sabi ko, ha? Talagang wala kayong alam sa Subic, ano?
Sir, in Subic, there's a lot of activities to do naman. Inside the resort itself, we are offering water sports activities. Of course, Subic is well known for water sports like jet ski, kayak, stand-up paddleboard. And then we're offering bike rentals as well, since Subic is also home to bikers. And then...
Yeah, and Romel Sitin and Kenneth are both avid bikers.
Yes.
Kanya iniiwasan ko eh. Lagi akong pinagbibisikleta eh.
Lagi po yun, pag may bisita po dito, talaga nga ayaing mag-bike. So, yeah, that's the in-house activities that we have here in the resort, aside from the pool and the gym, the outdoor playground.
What about for the ladies? You know, happy wife, happy life. Baka naman mag-complain yung mga wife. Ay nako, the boys get to do everything and we were just staring at the beach.
For the ladies, sir, soon we will be developing our massage as well for them to have something to do while the family and the kids are relaxing. Tapos they can shop as well outside if they wanted to do shopping.
Okay,
and
but
then
what about parlors and stuff? Because you know, I always hear that from women traveling. Oh, guys, we're gonna leave, and where are you guys gonna go? Magpapa-beauty treatment muna kami. Are there spas in the area or in the resort?
In the resort right now, sir, we don't have the facility, but in the 2022 facilities na nasa pipeline namin, kasama po siya, sir. Kasi we want everybody to enjoy their stay with us, na they don't need to go out of the resort kasi everything is there na. So that's part of the plan.
But for the moment, for what about dun sa mga malilikot, yung mga may nunal sa paa, yung gustong gala ng gala, aside from biking and shopping, of course, Subic is always a go-to place for shopping. But what other places are there to go inside SBMA?
Yes, sir. So areas or attractions like Ocean Adventure, Subic Safari are open already. For those who are interested to rent a yacht as well, there are players who are renting their yachts for them to experience sunset at the beach, at the ocean po.
Ayun. Buhay pa ba yung parang zip line dyan and yung may parang tatalon ka off the ledge, tas may hindi naman bungee pero naka-strap ka, bigla itutulak ka nung walang yang nag-a-attend?
Unfortunately, Sir Cito, they closed them permanently. That's treetop po.
Ay, sayang, because that was a really nice feature, very amusing, very entertaining, and exciting for all the young kids. So,
Gagawa na lang po kami.
Okay, so you have Subic Safari, and then
Ocean
you
Adventure.
have Ocean Adventure. You have ano pang yung mga malls? What are the malls that are open, or yung mga shopping areas?
So we have here yung Royal Duty Free, American Outlet, Ayala Harbor Point, Pure Gold Duty Free. So yun po yung mga pinupuntahan ng mga guests natin whenever they're visiting us here in Subic po. Parang side trip na nga lang nila, sir, kasi talaga nag-enjoy sila sa beach namin tsaka sa pool.
Hindi, at saka kanya kasi binubulungan nyo siguro sa entrance. Sir, wag na kayong lumabas, mabubutas ang credit card nyo. Okay, what other, okay, so we feature Western cuisine, Filipino cuisine. There are water activities, you have jet ski, paddleboard. Meron bang mga snorkeling dyan or scuba diving? Kasi may mga nagtatanong din eh.
So yes, sir, we have here diving sites. It's more on shipwreck. So yung mga dive shop po, we can assist these guests. There's available shops naman po outside the resort.
Okay, so
It's more on shipwrecks.
Okay, hindi nyo kinukulong yung mga guests. So if they want outside activities, you actually help them, you coordinate. What about those activities na yung parang may, I remember the common feature yan ng Subic, yung survival training or half-day familiarization with the Subic jungle?
What Subic jungle?
Yung merong mga native na tinuturuan ka magluto sa kawayan, gumawa ng trap sa mga manok,
yes, sir.
etc.
El Caballo, that's El Caballo. That's El Caballo. So the attraction itself, it's temporarily closed, but the trail is still open. So there is a supplier who's arranging a hike with that trail, and then you can still meet the tribe, and then they can still cook you the native cuisines that they're offering.
Okay, now normally how long should guests stay there? And what are the arrangements? Kasi alam mo, maraming hindi pa rin nakakasiguro. There's still, like for Baguio, there were so many questions people ask. Yung pala open na, and there are areas na hindi pa open. But going to Subic, is it fully open? What are your requirements as a resort?
Us as a resort, we are compliant with the protocol of SPMA. So it's just a valid ID, a full vaccination for the adult companion. For the kids, no need naman po since we are just starting the vaccination of the kids. And then, of course, we still have to follow the minimum health and safety protocols for us to be sure that everybody is not affected of the COVID virus. And then advisable to at least stay 3 days and 2 nights for you to maximize and enjoy Subic. Appreciate Subic, no? Kasi if you're just staying here for a day, talagang hindi nyo po maximize yung time and ma-enjoy since you are cramming and really just roaming around if you don't plan. So with us naman, we can help and assist our guests since we're also expanding and affiliating with these attractions na nag-open na po, no? Para po mas easier yung communications with our guests.
Okay, what about for children? Because I forgot to ask you. Kasi may mga mothers na nagtatanong, kid-friendly ba yung resort, Cito? Kasi parang ito, may playground ba dyan? Kid-friendly ba yan?
Yes, sir. Actually, the resort is built with a kid or a family in mind. We have outdoor playground before we have the indoor playground, but we cannot use it because we can't enclose kids in a closed door. So we have to transfer it outside. So it's by the beach already, Sir Cito. And also we have 2 kiddie pools, one for them to enjoy para hindi din sila magsama-sama. So, ayun. Kids can enjoy those kind of activities. Also, our garden, they can play, they can run, and enjoy like being kids.
Hindi ba nakaabang si Tita Ada na may pamalo? Hoy, wag mo magalaw-galaw yung plants ko. Yung reyna ng mga plantita sa Asea.
Sir, pinayagan na po. Lagot po ako mamaya.
No, because I was really impressed. Ada Sitin really invested on so many plants in Asea over the last 2 years.
Yes, sir.
Palagay ko wala nang retirement fund si Mr. Romel Sitin. In any case, but are the plants, ewan ko, baka hindi pa nyo nagagawa, but it would be interesting because there are many plantitos and plantitas who will be visiting ACEA, yung bang mga plants ninyo nakakatalog na, may mga labels na, etc. para it can be an educational tour for children actually.
Yes, sir. We're actually working with ecology already. So that's the environment office here in SPME. We're working with them because we have to inventory. We have to do inventory of our plants. I was just talking to Miss Sandra the other night, and that's our topic actually. And then she brought it up to me, and ayun, we have to name those plants. Ilan meron kami sa resort. So it's yun po.
Okay, well, I'm really curious to see what it looks like now, and congratulations, you guys have done such a marvelous job. Thank you for joining us this morning, Melissa Corilla, and more power to Asea Subic Beach Resort.
Salamat po, Sir Cito, and see you here po at ASEA.
Okay, that, ladies and gentlemen, is our final interview, and I bring you our blessing for the week. At kumukurap-kurap na yung aking kuryente from Romans chapter 15 verse 13. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, so that by the power of the Holy Spirit you may abound in hope. And that's today's agenda. I'm Cito Beltran wishing you well. God bless all of you. Please keep it here on One News PH.